Well, welcome. We are thrilled that you could join us for how to leverage AI to craft your perfect expert positioning book. I am 𝗩𝗛𝗗𝗡. I am publisher at Summit Press Publishers, and we publish books that mean business, such as After Hello, our most recent publication that we're super proud of. And these are all about expert positioning books that bring clients and customers to your door. Now, what we're going to talk about today is actually super disruptive. It has everyone in the publishing industry aflutter. This promises to be as disruptive as this object right here, which is the Gutenberg printing press. So I'm going to turn this disruption over to the very disruptive Walt Hampton, our acquisitions editor and our marketing wizard.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm so happy that you're here. I got a little bit berated by the team that I wasn't wearing the suit that was in the slide, but here I am. And I am thrilled to be with you here today because as our publisher shared with you, what we've got is of extraordinary import in this industry, across industries. And just to kind of show you how disruptive this is, what I've created today is a little video that I did just before we went live today on an interactive platform called OpenAI. And what I've done is I've teed up an example of how this tool can work. And so the prompt that I put in, I typed this prompt in just minutes before we went live, create a blog post on how leaders can inspire and engage their teams with great leadership. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is being generated in real time. It's not being cut and pasted. It's not being sourced from an entire document. What's happening here in real time is that this interactive artificial intelligence is drawing on everything it can access in the world, and it is composing this blog that I have prompted it to pose in real time. And this is the disruption that is happening now. It used to be a lot of cut and paste. It used to be a lot of templated stuff. And now interactively, I can communicate with this AI, as I'm doing now, asking it to create 3 possible titles for this post. And AI now is looking at what is written and it's generating 3 possible titles. And now I'd like to share it on LinkedIn. And so I can create the best possible hashtags to go out onto LinkedIn and to share this out there on LinkedIn. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the disruption that's happening in this space right now. It is of incredible, incredible power. So I have lost my slides. I don't know where they went, but we're gonna jump right on in and keep on going. The seismic change, the seismic event of this is extraordinary. What we're going to do right now is talk about, I found my slides again. How good is that? Give me just a minute. We're being really scrappy here. The opportunity, as I suggest, is amazing. And it's particularly good for you right now, ladies and gentlemen, because there's a lot of hand-wringing. We had so much feedback around this webinar today. Oh, it's going to be cheating. It's plagiarizing. It's going to take away jobs. And all of that may be true. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. Even yesterday, there was this article in the Wall Street Journal that it's going to make creative workers redundant. Well, I'll tell you that those people who are wringing their hands right now will join the elementary school teachers at the picnic table back from the 1970s when they were worried about calculators being used in education. This is the new reality. And you, friends, are able to seize this moment. And for the next 3 to 6 to 10 to 12 months, there are going to be a few of us who lean into this opportunity. And beyond that, we're still going to be able to leverage this moment. And my objective for you today is for you to be able to get that head start. So our team is on the webinar today. We rarely bring all of the team together. Melissa, our director of operations, is in chat, and 𝗩𝗛𝗏𝗓, our publisher, is there in chat. I think we have our chief learning officer and Doug Brown in the audience. So I thank our team for being there. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get to all of the questions today you may have, but the team will engage with you there. And I would invite you to stay to the end because I have one amazing disruptive reveal for you. And the disruptive reveal is, well, I can't tell you. I'm going to share it with you toward the end. And at the very end, I'm going to extend a special invitation to you. There is nothing for sale. There's nothing you can buy. This is not a pitch fest in any way. It's really meant to invite you to seize this opportunity. So let's really dig in. As I alluded to, up until this moment in time, AI was pretty clunky. It would go out into the world and it would cut and paste stuff, and it would be very formulaic and very templated. And now, just in the last 6 weeks, what we've seen is this seismic shift where the chat function is interactive and in real time. And so now it actually can create stuff on the fly. It can modify your content on the fly. It can tweak and revise it on the fly as you're interacting with it. And as you saw, it can create titles for the material. It can create excerpts for the material. It can even create slides for a workshop or a presentation or a keynote for you in real time. So we've been able to use forms of AI, of course, up until now for research and organization and suggested content and content. Many of you in writing and publishing, you're already using AI like Grammarly and style stuff and proofing. What's happening also, though, is that we can use AI to launch our products, programs, and our books, to promote, to market, to create lots of collateral stuff around a book. And those of you who have worked with us know that even though we're the boutique publisher of independent expert positioning books in the industry, we're big believers that it's not just about the book. It's about what you do with the book. And AI helps us and is going to help us with that as well. So why use artificial intelligence? Well, it's going to increase your efficiency dramatically. As you saw in real time, within about a minute, I created a blog on expert leadership team, and engagement. It's going to improve your accuracy. The accuracy, as far as we've been able to tell with respect to grammar and style, is very close to 100%, with absolutely perfect punctuation and proofreading and all of that. So what's going to happen is that with AI, your time and effort to write and edit your book is going to be dramatically reduced. Now, For those of you who know our publisher and have interacted with our publisher, 𝗩𝗛𝗡𝗙𝗍, she will often say to our authors, just give me a shitty first draft. Please just give me a shitty first draft. One of the hardest things for writers, it's hard for us, those of us who write every single day, is that first word on the page, is that first sentence. It's getting started. And I'm going to tell you where the weaknesses of are for AI in a few minutes. But I will tell you that one of the seismic shifts here with AI is that you can create a shitty first draft of a chapter of your book within minutes. And as 𝗩𝗛𝗓𝗄, the best-selling author, said, is you could always edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page. And so having that first blank page, that first bad page in front of you, gives you such a platform to begin to move into the work, to shape the work, to create it as something beautiful and something of your own. And we're going to go deep into that in a few minutes. So one of the best things about AI, whether it be creating a blog, an introduction, the draft of a workshop, is it gives you that platform, that bad page, perhaps, maybe it's not so bad, that will allow you to enter into the process a whole lot faster. So it gives you that shitty first draft that the publisher here at Summit Press is always looking for. And one of the things, as I alluded to, that we hear about now, particularly in the last few weeks, in fact, it was in our social media feed today, all of these things that, oh, is it cheating? Well, is it cheating, friends, to use a calculator when you're doing your bank reconciliation? Is it cheating if you have, as we do on our team, an amazing social media manager who's taking a lot of our content and repurposing it out there to share with you? Is it cheating if you have a copywriter on your team doing the copywriting? That's just being smart out there in the world. It's not cheating. It's making life easier and more efficient so that you can get your message out into the world faster and more effectively. And if you're on this program today, friends, you are people of service. You have a message to share with the world. You want to get that message out into the world. And so anything that allows us to do it faster and easier and to move that process forward is in service to the people that we care about. Another issue that comes up over and over again is, well, is it plagiarism? How is it source? What about the sourcing of it? As far as we can tell, with this new interactive platform, the sourcing is quite broad, and it is not cutting and pasting other people's stuff. It is composing in real time, not cutting and pasting. As far as we can tell, there is no plagiarism issue. So it is sourcing from out in the universe, and the material that you're generating is original in that moment. And in fact, the AI platform allows you to regenerate your question, and AI will come up with a completely new, modified version of what it gave to you originally. And not only that, it will do it again and again and again. People worry about whether or not it will source from fake news. I'm going to come back to this. There is some danger around how AI sources. And when I tell you in a bit about the gaps in AI, we'll go a bit deeper in this. As far as we can determine right now, and this technology is very, very new, there are no significant or extant ethical issues that we can identify as we move into the use of this technology. So the big reveal that I want to share with you is this, that everything that we've done in connection with this webinar has been generated by AI. The landing page that you went to register on was generated by this platform that I demonstrated with you today. The follow-up emails that you got, all of them were generated by AI. The emails that you'll get after this webinar, all generated by AI. Perfectly, grammatically, stylistically composed. Did we go in and add the links? Sure. Did we go in and add the footers? Sure. The text, everything was generated by AI, including, friends, I may look like I know everything about this stuff, but the entire outline for this webinar was created for you today by using this platform, artificial intelligence, that I shared with you just a few minutes ago. So, where are the potential gaps? Well, one is that there is the possibility for error. Right now, in this moment in time, OpenAI.com, which is the originating source for this technology. At this moment, there are a lot of competitors out there. They about a year ago, so this last year is not included in the data set. So it is sourcing information that is pre-2022. That will change very, very rapidly. The other thing is that this AI is not discriminating when it goes out to source between what may be true or not true. So if there was conflicting science, for example, regarding COVID vaccines, or if there was conflicting information around the elections, or if there was conflicting data about financial models, well, AI can't at this point discriminate between the real and the fictional. And so what that means is that you or your publisher or your editor or your team will need to vet the copy. And vetting the copy will continue to be important. I will tell you a very funny little aside that happened just today in connection with this webinar. I saw a social media post out there in social land promoting this webinar. And it had language that we don't use in your company. It said, take your writing to the next level. We don't like that term, take it to the next level, because it doesn't really say anything. Taking it to the next level is like, what, the third floor in your house? I don't know what that means. And so we have a rule that we don't use that in our promotional copy. But lo and behold, it was out there being used. I messaged Melissa, who's on this morning, and she said, well, that was the promotional copy we got from you, which was generated by AI. I didn't vet that. I should have vetted that. That's an example of being careful about what goes on out there in the world. The other gap is that when you generate copy, the copy that comes back may or may not be congruent with your business model. And so AI is not going to know what your business model is or how you intend to use this. So it needs to be used mindfully and intentionally. Thirdly, AI in and of itself isn't doing marketing. And marketing is about creating, nurturing, and sustaining relationships over time and interacting with your clients and customers and building that trust and credibility. AI is not going to do that for you. You need to do that, and the creation of your content through AI is not going to satisfy in and of itself that obligation. AI, when it's creating your text, when it's creating your copy, is not going to know the larger arc of your client or customer journey. People come into your business, into your profession, into your office, into your whatever kind of business you have, and they have a journey toward when they actually become paying clients. AI doesn't know that. And so you are going to have to shape the content you create and the books you go out and share in the world in a way that serves that client and customer journey. There's also this idea of rapport and connection. Rapport and connection is very personal. I'm going to talk about this at a deeper level momentarily. Speaking to your client avatar, to your potential client in her or his or their own words. The most brilliant of marketing, as we share with our authors and our coaching clients, enters into the conversation that is already happening inside our clients' minds. There's a conversation that's happening inside our clients' minds, and AI can't enter into that. You can enter into that. Only you can enter into that. And it's going to continue to be important that you enter into that, because simply slapping up content that's generated on AI or creating an ebook or a bigger book on AI is not going to do that. And so you'll never be able to connect in the way that you need to and create that rapport and connection. The last piece, which will always, in our opinion, at Summit Press, this last piece about personal story will always remain in your domain. Everything that we've produced over the last several weeks on AI, and sometimes we can get lost in rabbit holes because it's so cool and so inviting to stay there. Everything that we produced has been brilliant, and it's been amazing, and it's been fun, and it's been easy, but it lacks dimensionality. It lacks depth. It's factual, it's logical, it's easy to read, but it lacks depth. It lacks personality. It lacks personal story. And story matters. We studied with the great Les Brown, who as instructor of motivational speaker. He said, never make a point without a story. We are a people of story. We learn by story. Those around us learn by story. Can AI create story? It actually can, but they are two-dimensional. They are flat. There's no resonance in those stories. And that depth is what sets you apart in the universe. So personal story is going to continue to really matter a lot. So let me give you an example. You know, I could tell you, if I were writing about the pandemic and the history of the pandemic, and I was talking about, you know, how isolating it was and how lonely it was for so many people, that's all true. And AI could probably generate a story about that. But I would connect with you at a much deeper level if I could share with you my grief and my loss around losing my dad in the middle of the pandemic and not being able to be there with him, not being able to be there to grieve him and to stand at his gravesite. I could not share that. The AI could never share that story. I can tell you a great story, and AI could tell you a great story about climbing big mountains. That's one of our passions. We stood on the summit of Denali, and Shebani and I and our 17-year-old son, on our third attempt, and it had been a dream for decades, a dream that had been instilled in me by my dad. That story, AI can't possibly source. We're ultra distance runners. I could have AI create a story about the Grand Canyon, but I could never land that story to an audience without talking about going off the South Rim in the dark, at dawn, in a starry night, and feeling the cold air and the ground beneath our feet and hearing the rushing of the water on the Colorado River. That depth will always remain with authors and writers. And that's going to be an obligation. You can create that shitty first draft, and we're going to have to go deep with story. Story matters. That will continue to be an obligation for you as a writer, as an author. So you are the missing ingredient and will continue to be the missing ingredient with the use of AI. You will remain relevant. You will remain important. You will remain essential to the writing and publishing process now and into the future. Now, is there the possibility that AI gains consciousness and is able to connect with some of these issues that we're talking about today? It's not only possible, it's likely. It's not now, it's not in the next few years in all likelihood. You are essential to this process, and creating that depth of connection with your readers is absolutely important. So my question for you then is, what's next for you? What are you going to do? How will you experiment with AI? How will you embrace this moment? Will you bring it in and play with it a little bit? Will you expose your team to it? Will you try some content marketing with it, some social media marketing, perhaps some newsletters and blogs and LinkedIn articles? Will you explore what's next around AI, or will you stand on the sidelines and go, oh no, that's looks like cheating, it's not for me? It's here. So I want to invite you to step in to what's next for you. And I would also like to invite you to step into what might be next for you in terms of getting your book out into the world. As Anne said at the beginning, we are the premier independent publisher of expert positioning, authority building, client attracting books. And at Summit, we do so much cool stuff with writers. We help them from having that absolutely blank page to the book coaching process, or through ghostwriting. We take shitty first drafts and turn them into something amazing with book doctoring. We help folks out in the world get their courses created and marketed and their keynotes out in front of big audiences. And we actually move amazing books into the world as best sellers. Some of the books that we have published this last year, The Pain Paradox, #1 international bestseller in 87 separate categories in 23 hours. An amazing practitioner, Catherine Rolt from the UK, previously almost unknown, meteorically out there in the world in a big way, changing lives. Our dear friend and colleague, Dr. Serena Sterling from the West Coast, Pain, A Love Story, #2 Wall Street Journal bestseller, selling thousands and thousands of copies of this amazing book within a very short period of time. We work with folks like lawyers, like I used to be. Deb Fetter, an amazing lawyer from the Midwest who helps other lawyers build their businesses. This book just published at the end of the year and already has won global recognition for a cutting edge cover design. Just so proud of this work. We also do these launches. So this young man, Roland Cochran, works with folks in the mortgage industry. Roland rolled out a product and program in connection with the book that he's still writing, and in 5 days earned $250,000, and then did another six-figure iteration of this in 2022 as well. We also help folks like Una Duncan write the proposal for their books. We helped Mary Barbera, who is an amazing authority, global authority on autism, write the proposal for her book. We also help folks get their books out into the world with their own best-selling author campaigns. And so my question for you is, will you be the next best seller for Summit Press? And the invitation that we do not make lightly at all, because we make it very selectively, is, would you like to be considered as one of our next authors? And if you would, I'd like to invite you to have a call with us, and it will probably be directly with me. If you go over onto the right-hand side, you're going to find a green button. I think it's green. It could be blue if you're listening to the replay. It's on the right if you're on this live presentation. It may be down below if you're watching the replay. But if you go to that blue button, it's going to take you to a very short form. Melissa will reach out to you, set up a call. We would love to have the opportunity to connect with you and to see how we can support you in getting your message out into the world in a big way. So while you're thinking about doing this, I would love to field some questions, and either Melissa or Ann, if there is a particular question that you think would be worthwhile for me to start with, just let me know. You can pop back on your audio and let me know, because I see there's a big chat there. So Mel or Ann? If you could do it with audio on, because I'm not going to be able to see the chat.
I'm going to say real quickly, one of the things that people are looking to do is to get a manuscript fully edited with AI. Can ChatGPT do that right now?
All right, let me respond to that. So the documents that we're seeing out of the AI platform, openai.com, ChatGPT, are nearly perfect in terms of grammar and style, and they are error-free in terms of spelling and punctuation, as far as we can tell. So the answer to the question is, the thing that you produce there will be relatively, in fact, I don't want to step over the line because this is new stuff, is error-free. Can you upload and share right now an extant manuscript and have AI review it? The answer is yes, but. The reason I shared with you today a Loom video of my exercise around AI is that right now there are so many people trying this technology that the platform is overloaded. And so there's very limited access to it. So I am not sure that that will be possible to do now. I do know that there's a lot of interactivity that will be available shortly. The good news is that this is just going to continue to grow and evolve. The bad news is that these platforms are going to begin to charge an investment, probably a monthly or yearly investment. So, so the answer is yes, and right now it's going to be challenging.
So I'm going to speak to one of the things that somebody was talking about is uploading a novel in particular and getting AI to serve as an editor in that capacity. One of the things that AI currently lacks, particularly when it comes to novels, is a sense of details, a sense of place, when I say sense of detail, we don't have a sense of sight, touch, feel, smell, all of the things that allow a reader to feel as though they are experiencing a scene. Right now, AI is informational. It can give you the bare outline of a story, but it doesn't have characters or a sense of the reader being able to inhabit a place. So when an editor is looking at your work, yes, editors are looking for grammar and punctuation, but editors are also looking for a sense of who the author is, a sense of who the people are that are being that are on the page, a sense that the reader will be able to experience or place themselves in a similar situation. They can feel themselves in that spot. AI cannot deliver that yet. That's still the job of a human author to insert that humanness.
So I'm just going to follow up on that thread. I see some interaction as I was listening to 𝗩𝗛𝗗𝗢 with that, and I agree 100%. I see some interaction with one of the amazing authors we've worked with over the years, Josh Patrick, whose books are extraordinary. And he says in one of his comments, unless you spend hours and hours training AI, having a content editor is still crucial. I concur, but I would put Ann's caveats together with Josh's, which is to say that while the content that AI generates may be perfect with a small p, it doesn't have that dimensionality, and you need the author and a content editor to integrate the power and the depth and the dimensionality that is lacking in a piece of content that's generated by AI. And so I think, having someone, and that someone on our team is a content editor, integrate all of that is absolutely essential. Do we have, I want to honor, we have time for one or two more questions. I want to honor all of your time. So is there another question that has come to the surface, either Melissa or Ann? It's something that you should point out for me? All right, is there anyone else on the platform right now that hasn't gotten their question answered that would like just to pop it in the chat before I sum up? Cool. All right. So thank you, Jantina. I appreciate that. So let me just finish by saying that the technology that has evolved over the last 6 to 8 weeks is mind-bendingly, seismically changing. PB, there likely will be a difference between free and paid AI. Right now, Jasper is a paid AI. I think there may be a free version of it. but Jasper's been sourcing off of OpenAI, which has been free. And this free beta of OpenAI is experiencing vast overload right now. My intention, my hope was to be able to go live and to show you live, but I had recorded the video just before. So Matthew, you can take your AI for a test drive by endeavoring to create a openai.com account, openai.com, and it will, at the top of the page, prompt you try ChatGPT or take it for a test drive, and that's the way to do that. And yes, thank you. It's going to be more expensive. All right. Yes, Melissa, that's absolutely right. So let me just finish up by saying the most important thing, the whole idea behind the work we do at Summit Press is helping amazing folks like you get your messages out into the world, to be able to share what you do, to impact, to influence other people, to make that dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs once said. And tools, all of our tools are important for getting that message out into the world. I invite you not to get hung up on the tools, but to use the tools most effectively so that you can move your important work out into the world. One of the things that drives us crazy is we'll go to a book signing or we'll be out at a book launch and somebody will say, well, you know, I've always wanted to get a book out into the world. You know, I've always wanted to write a book. And it's like, please just write it. Sometimes I'll say, if you just wrote a page a day for a year, you'd have way too much content. So it's it's being in the process. And one of the things that excites us about the AI evolution right now is it does allow you to get that first bad draft iterated, and it becomes this point of beginning for you. And one of the things we coach and recommend for our authors is to go out into the world and begin to test shorter pieces out into the world, out on LinkedIn for many of us, out on Instagram and Facebook, on your own blogs. And again, the AI is a wonderful place of beginning for you to become more consistent out there, building up a presence. If you want to work with 𝗩𝗛𝗗𝗢𝗓 and have her introduce you to one of our agents who works with some of the big houses look for big platforms. And so going out and being consistent in the building of your presence out in the world. So this tool that is extant now and this tool that will evolve is a tool to help you move your work out into the world in a big way, a whole lot faster and easier, so that the people who need your gifts and talents will have them. So I encourage you, we don't make this in, this is a very targeted audience. We invite you to apply for a call with us to see how we might be able to support you in getting your work out in the world. So on the right-hand side, you'll find that button, press the button, fill out the short form, and Melissa will make that happen with me. And for now, go out and embrace this. Be a little bit playful, be a little curious, have some fun with it, and see what you can do, because your work matters and your voice matters. Thank you so very much for spending this time with us today. I hope this has been valuable. We'll look forward to seeing you on a future presentation. Have a wonderful rest of the day and a wonderful rest of the week. Take care. Bye for now.